Okay, next one we are going to looking for command line argument. Okay, in this case, we already discussed about this simple program in Java, right? That is, here I am already said that RJS is a array of string. Okay, so we are given this RJS inside our main function, right? Inside the parenthesis of the main function. So what it means that it is used for receiving the command line arguments. Okay, so I will show you with the help of another program. I just create a new program here. Change the class name as CL demo, CLI demo, like that. Okay, so here I just want to use so this is an array. So what I'm showing to use that I just created a new Java file cli.demo.java. Okay, so this is my file. So in this Java file we have a class CLI demo and we have a main function, and I just use this print statement to print this value inside our args array. Okay, so if you want we can add some more parameters, that is a value, first parameter, first argument. Like this. Okay, so if you are running this, let's open a terminal. First of all, we need to compile this program using Java C file name CLI demo.java. It is compiled. Now we are going to run the program, right? So while running the program, the syntax is Java space the class name of the class, right? After that space, we need to pass some parameters or some arguments. So I am passing some arguments here like hi. Okay, so when I click enter, I will get the output as first argument hi. So this is called command line arguments. We can pass arguments while running a class or running a Java file. Okay, so these arguments are stored inside our string array, this string array. Okay, so you can pass any number of arguments. Okay, for example, I'm adding one more print statement here. Here args1. Okay, so then again, just a minute. Okay. So we are telling about the command line arguments, right? So here I am adding one more printout statement, that is the first argument and second argument, right? One is args of 0, another one is args of 1, right? Then we need to compile this program again, then run. Sorry. So while running, I can able to pass two arguments. Okay. So instead of hi, after that space hello. Okay. So it will get the first one saved inside args of 0 and second one saved inside args of 1. Okay. So that's the thing. So likewise, you can pass n number of arguments while running a Java program. Clear? So this is called command line arguments. Okay. Any doubts? So using this command line arguments, we can change the characteristic of program, right? For example, if you pass command line arguments as add, we can perform this. For example, if we can perform our operation as addition, right? Or if you pass multiply as a command line argument, or we can pass if you pass into, right? Likewise, we can use now we can change the dynamics of a program with the help of this command line argument. That is, we can use a condition like if args of like that, right? Then we can use any kind of code based on that, right? So the code now behaves differently based on the different command line arguments. Okay, so that is also possible. We can change the, we can use same program that can behave differently with the help of different command line arguments. Okay, so this is the concept. I hope you understood. Any questions regarding this command line arguments? Guys, any questions? So I hope all of you understood. If you have any query, you can ask, right? So next we can discuss about data encapsulation. So there are different features as an object-oriented program. As all of you do know about some of the features, I will show you. So one of the feature is data encapsulation. So we will go to the different object-oriented features. One is data encapsulation, other one is data abstraction, then inheritance, and polymorphism. Okay, so we need to go, now we need to explain each and every features in detail. Okay, so before going that, I will explain what is data encapsulation. Okay, so data encapsulation means the concept of hiding variables. Okay, concept of securing data. Okay, so many of them will tell like that an example of car, right? So people only able to for example, as a driver, people do only able to drive the car. Okay, there is nothing need to be known based on how to the engine works and all, right? So most of in that case, we can say that so that is a concept, right? That is how it happens if you're implementing data encapsulation and data abstraction. Okay. The data encapsulation, data abstraction is actually very close to each other. Okay, so data encapsulation can be achieved by hiding the variables. For example, so I will show an example with example program. Okay, so data encapsulation is basically to provide security aspect. Okay, for example, I will create another program here. Just copy this one. For example, I just name this program as I just name the program as person.java. Okay, so just change this a person. So this is our class. Okay. For example, a person have some characteristic. For example, person have we can say that height, right? And person do have, so a class have some kind of attributes and some kind of methods, right? So that we already discussed that. In case of class, we have some kind of statements. Statements means some kind of features or attributes like that. Some kind of variables will be there, and some kind of methods also will be there, right? For a person, we can say that person to have some height, a person to have some weight, or we can say that uh, so I will show you an example. Yeah, or we can use the same example textbook for reference. Okay. So this is the concept of encapsulating a good dog class. Okay. For example, it is a class good dog. Here what happens that encapsulation means hiding the variables, or hiding the variables means here the variables is private. Okay. The private means it can't access outside the class. Okay. It cannot be accessed outside the class. Okay. And we are the variables must be in private, and all the functions are public. Methods are public. Okay, here two methods are there. One is get size method and other is set size method. Again, excuse me. Okay, sorry for interruption. So we are discussing about the encapsulation. Okay, encapsulation generally means we are hiding the variables and making use of public functions or methods to use the variables. Okay, so what happens is that here we can use two variables, height and weight. So we need to make these variables as private int height and private int weight. Okay, then we can use these classes. For example, this is the class for, we need to change based on our requirement. Okay, so this is called as setters and getters. Okay, in our programming terminology, we will declare things like that. We need to declare the variables as private. Then we need to use functions to set the values and get the values. Okay, for example, get height is one of the function. Okay, it will return height. Okay, and set height, another function. So it will set height. It will set values like this. Okay, so what happens is that while calling this get height function, it will return the height of a specific object. Okay, and while calling set height function, so we need to pass set height is for setting the value of height variable, setting height variable. Okay, so if you want to set some value to height variable, you need to pass that value here, right? So here we need to pass some value, and that value is stored inside this variable height. So this is called as setters and getters. Generally, if you define any variable, then we need to create a setters and getters for that specific variable. That is the common scenario, if you are doing a program. Okay, so that is a proper way, that is a secure way. Okay, so in this case we are added the setters and getters for height. Okay, the similar kind we need to use this one for, and you copy this, and you need to use this one for weight also. Set weight and get weight. Okay. So then we close the class. So in this class, the class is person, and we have two variables inside this class, that is height and weight. Here the variables are defined as private. Okay, so private means if the variables are private, then that objects outside the class can't access these variables. Okay, and we created public methods for, as in order we need to access these variables for doing some operation, right? So in order to access these variables, we are going to use these public methods. So one method is for getting the value of this variable, or another method is setting the value. Setting means we need to assign some value to the variable. For that, we need to use set height. To get the height, we are using get height, like this. Okay, so this is our class person. Okay, so I will create another file. So we are going to use person driver. So this is a file having this main method. Okay, so I just save this one as person driver.java. Okay, so in this file, inside this file, what we are going to do is now we are going to create the object of person class. So as all of you know, I show you how to create the object. So for creating object, we need to enter the class name space object name, object reference variable name equal to new of person. So we created an object here, right? So if you want to set some value to the object, we can't use, like we already knew that this is an object of class person, right? So this object have two variables, height and weight, right? Since height and weight are privately assigned, privately initialized, so that we can't access this as here like this. It is not possible. We can't set value like this. Okay, it will show you the errors. Okay, because this height and weight are private. Okay, I will show you. This we will need to add some print statement. Here I'm printing p.height. So just try to run this file. Let's see. So our main function is person driver, right? So we need to run this javac person driver.java. So it is not compiled. Okay, the compilation error occurs. So why it is error occurs? Because the height has private access in person. Okay, so we are accessing an object outside the class, right? So this argument is not inside this person or Java, right? We created another class and we created object of person here, and we are trying to access the height of this person or setting the height of this person. But it is not possible because height are assigned as private variables. Okay, if it is not private, then it is possible. For example, change it to public here. Just change it to public. Then let's run this one again. We are not getting any error, right? It's compiled, right? Then we can go for person driver. We will get the answer as 78, right? If it is public, then anyone can access. Okay, so we can access this manner. Okay, but for security aspect, no, we are not. It is not recommended to initialize variables as public because these variables contains data, right? So variable, for example, if you are creating any object, these variables are very important because variables are storing the data of our, right? If the data can be accessible by anyone, then there is no security concept, right? So we need to secure the data, right? We need to provide no accessing data in a secure manner. Okay, so that's why we are using, we need to define this variable as private, and we are using these methods to access the value. So with the help of these methods, we can do some operation. We can control in which of the way we can access the variables. Okay, so we can, with the help of these methods, we can provide any kind of condition, right? And we can access, we can include any kind of restriction over this object, over this class, over this variable. Okay. So here I am using, in this case, now I just change our this variables as private. Okay. So in this case, we can't have to use this initialization method, right? So instead of that, we need to call this set height method, set height of, then we need to pass integer. For example, set height of 164. So it will set the variable height as 64. Okay. If you want to set the weight, then we need to use set weight method. Set weight of 72 kilograms, like that, 72, right? So if you want to print these values, we are setting the value of this object to height into 164 and weight into 72, right? So now we are going to print these values. Okay, so in order to print these values, we need to use get, right? So p dot get height. So it will get the height, right? And if you want to print, for example, this is height. Okay. So then if you want to print the weight, get weight. Okay. So then just, so we are using this function for setting the values, and once we setting a specific integer, then if you want to get the values, we are using another function to get the values. Okay. So just try to run this program again. Just compare and run, right? Now we get the answer as height is 164, weight 72, like this. So this is called as data encapsulation. That is, we need to secure variables in such a way that it cannot be accessed from outside the class. If you want to access the variables, we need to use public methods to access these variables, so that it will provide some sort of security over our data. Okay, so this concept is called as data encapsulation. So data encapsulation is have another name called as data hiding. Okay, if you want just get a definition from internet. can get that data encapsulation is also known as data hiding. It's a mechanism whereby implementation of data are kept hidden from the user. So user can restrict. So I will show you. Okay. So this is the user can only perform restricted set of operation on the hidden members of the class. So members of the class means the variables of the class. Okay, variables are called members. Okay, so user are restricted to access this member or these variables directly. User can access variables or the other person can access variables only through the methods. Okay, the user can only perform some kind of operation by executing special function called methods. So these methods are commonly used. Okay, so these methods are public methods. Okay, we can access the member function or we can access the variables or members of the class only through this methods or public methods. So that kind of scenario is called as data encapsulation or data hiding. So you got this kind of definition, the wrapping of private data in classes in object programming. So it is also called like that, right? Wrapping of a data into a class is also called as data encapsulation. So we are wrapping our data, or we are securing our data, or we are providing some shield over a data so that it can't be seen or can't be modified from outside person. It can be used with the help of restricted manner, right? It can be used with the help of the methods or the functions we are implementing or we are using. Okay. So I hope all of you got the concept of data encapsulation. Any questions? So this is the way we are implementing a data encapsulation. So we need to provide our variables, any kind of variables to private. Then we need to provide public methods to access this variable or to do stuff over this variable. We need to use public methods. So that is the concept. Okay. So here we are using some get height. So get height is for getting a height, right? So that we need to use a return type here, right? So I hope all of you do know the basic thing of a function, right? This is a function, right? So for a function, public means the function is public. Int means this function returns an integer. Okay, this is the name of the function. So this function returns which integer? Returns height here. Okay, void means it is not returning anything. Okay, that is we are using this function for setting value. No, because it is not returning or no, it is any data back to the caller. So anyone calling this function now doesn't receive any kind of data, right? Because we are using this function for setting a value. It will not return anything, right? For that we are using void. Void means nothing, right? So no return type. That is called void. Okay, if you want to return a floating point value, then you need to use public float, right? So here where variables are integer, so you need to use int as. Right? So I hope all of you do know the basic thing. If you have any query based on this question, you can ask. Any queries? So we have two progress classes. One is person class and other one is person drive, because this is for accessing our person class. Any question? Guys, any questions related to this session? മനസ്സിലായില്ലേ പറയുന്നത്? മനസ്സിലായില്ല പറഞ്ഞോ, കുഴപ്പമില്ല, നമുക്കത് എക്സ്പ്ലെയിൻ ചെയ്യാം. If you have any doubts or no, if you are don't clear about any concept, you can ask. Okay. Okay then. So that is called as encapsulation. Okay. Next we can move abstraction. I will show you. Okay, I think before going to extraction, we can go for inheritance, right? So I hope all of you download this textbook. It is very easy to go learn things from this page. So this is an example of inheritance. Okay, they are giving many examples. For example, we can take this example. So animal is a parent class. Okay, and all other classes inherited attributes of this parent class. So inheritance means it will get all the feature of their parent class. Okay, so this lion inherit. So this is the common features. All the common features can be grouped together to form a parent class, right? For example, all animals do have a picture. All animals do have need to eat food, right? So all animals do have hunger, right? Boundaries. They do have some location. So these are the things common to each and every animal, and these are the functions that is common to each and every animal. That's each animal does perform some operation. Functions means variables means data, right? So which of the things have basic scenarios, that is which of the values are needed to represent a data or represent an object. So these values are called as variables. Okay, so functions means some behavior. So they need to do some kind of operation, right? That object need to perform some kind of operation, right? So all that operation, right? What they are doing, right? So that is given inside your function. So all animals do make some noise, and all the animals do eat, right? And sleep. So these are the functions that animal do, right? So this is a generic animal class, and we can say that this is a base class, okay, or super class. Okay, and we are, or these subclasses, or these classes are called lion, hippo, tiger. No, these are the classes that inherit features from our superclass. So these classes are called derived class or subclass, like that. Okay, so animal is called as superclass or base class, and the class who deriving some features from base class is called as derived class or subclass. Okay, so these are the subclasses. So when you create a subclass, then what happens is that all the attributes and all the methods inside our parent class or the base class will automatically copied to the subclasses. We don't need to write anything. It automatically have that is inheritance, right? So we will tell about that in case of some for example some attitude or some characteristic or some behavior of person, we can say that no, it is inherited from my father, or my this kind of, right, this kind of thing is inherited from father, right? So if you are so anger, or no, this anger stuff inherited from my mother, like that. No, we are saying, right, if you are getting some diabetic or kind of disease, then that also we will get as an inheritance, right? Through, no, it is getting from your parents, kind of, right? So same kind of thing here. So inheritance means some of the features we are deriving, or we are getting all the features of our parent class to the subclass. So this is inheritance, the concept. Okay. So I will show you one example. So I just create another one that we can. So we have a person class here, right? For example, we can use this as a base class or super class. Then we can create another class which inherits from this person class. Okay, this person is generic thing. For example, it can be applied for any kind of person, right? Student, or we can say a teacher, right? Or any kind of a person will be a person, right? So what I'm doing now, I just copy this one first. So I'll just rename this as teacher. So teacher is a subclass. The public class teacher. If we want to inherit this class from person, then we need to use this keyword extends. So extends person. So what happens that? I just want to save this as teacher.java. So what is happening here now? This teacher class extends means inherits. For inheritance, we are using the keyword extends. So this teacher class extends all the features, all the variables, or all the methods inside the person class. Okay, so all these things will be automatically accessed by this teacher class. So no need to write this again. So this teacher class will already have this height and weight. Okay, if the teacher have any other kind of thing, then we can add here. For example, the teacher have qualification. So I can add qualification here. As qualification, string qualification, like that. Okay. Again, if you want to just make it as a private, I'm making other functions, the setters and getters for that qualification. So set qualification and get and set qualification. Okay, so this is string. So instead of int, we need to add string like that. Here also it's a string. Instead of height, it is qualification. So here, in case of teacher, we extend this teacher class from person and we added some another characteristic here. This is a characteristic specific to teacher. Okay, that is qualification, and we added some getters and setters for that variable qualification. Okay, so what happened? I'll just create another. So for example, this is our person driver class, right? So use another class for teacher, that is for teacher driver dot java, and just rename this class as teacher driver. Okay, so here I am creating an object of teacher p equal to new teacher. So then we can call height and weight again, because teacher class inherits all the properties or all the variables of a person class. Okay, so teacher class will have these things, height and weight and these all methods, but it is not shown here because it is automatically by default it is inherited. Okay, and these two things are specific to teacher. This qualification is specific to that teacher. Okay, so inside this teacher driver class, we create an instance of a teacher here, we create an object of teacher here, then we use set height and weight method to set the height and weight of this teacher, because it automatically by default it is inherited, right? So it will be there. Okay, so then if you want to set qualification, you can use set qualification, then you need to pass as string here, pass btech. Then if you want to print this qualification, then we need to qualification equal to get qualification, p dot get qualification. Okay, so just try to run this program and let's see what's output. Java C teacher driver dot Java. We compared here prop successfully, then we can run this class. Sorry, teacher driver, right? Just type teacher. Okay. Java space teacher driver. Okay. Then we will get output as height, weight, and qualification. Okay. So this is example of inheritance. So what happens is that in case of here we have a person class having height, weight, and these methods, and we have created another class, teacher class, and teacher class extends the person class, because this means that teacher class inherits all the properties from person class. Okay. So then teacher class will have specific properties of that specific class, right? So this is the specific properties. Then we create another class, teacher driver.java. Here this is the main method have, right? So here inside that we create object of this teacher and we set weight, height, qualification, and now just print this thing, everything, right? So this set and weight, these methods are from person class. As teacher inherited it from person class, then now we can teacher class, teacher object of teacher will already have this kind of thing, variables and all. So we are using high set these methods that is in person class for doing operation over teacher. Okay, so this is called as inheritance, or this kind of inheritance called as single inheritance. So we are deriving only from one parent class, or we can say that it's a single level inheritance, like that. So, is it clear? Inheritance concept? Any questions? Any questions based on this inheritance? Okay. So this is called a single level inheritance because we are only inherited from person, right? So there are different kinds of inheritance. I will show you. So better picture. So this is called a single level inheritance. That is, now we can see that class A is our parent class. Class B inherit properties from class A. This is called a single level. Okay, single level. Multi-level means class B inherits properties from class A, then another class, class C, that inherits properties from class B. That is called as multi-level inheritance. Okay. And hierarchical means there are two classes, class B and class C, and both classes inherited properties from same class, that's class A. That is hierarchical, like that. Okay. And another one is multiple inheritance, and this multiple inheritance is not supported by Java. So multiple inheritance means a class can be inherited from two classes. Okay, this class C inherits properties from class A and class C inherits properties from class B. Okay, it is not permitted in case of Java. Okay, by default we can't do like that. For example, in order to do multiple inheritance, we need to do this public class teacher extends. For that is person comma for example any other class, for example person comma of teacher to make it is college, so like that. Okay, so this is not possible, it is not permissible in Java. We can't one class can't inherit properties from more than two base classes. It can inherit properties only from one base class. Okay, this method is not permissible in Java, like using this extends keyword. There are workarounds to find out how to create, if you want, in some cases we need to create multiple inheritance. Okay, so in that case we have another method, so that we will discuss later. We have concept of interface. In Java there is a concept of interface. With the help of this interface concept we can implement this multiple inheritance. Okay, so Java, the basic idea of Java is, Java consists lot of concepts are there, so you have to study each of the concepts very well. Okay, so this extends keyword for inheritance. So you need to, in your mind, you need to keep a link between inheritance and this keyword extends. Okay, so this is for inheritance, this keyword for inheritance. Okay, so there is another. Yes. Huh? Teachers driver is simply one class. Inheritance on. So driver means the class having the main class, just denote as a driver, because this is used here now in this main class. We are using an object teacher, right? So that's why I just name it as a teacher driver. Okay, here it is a single class. It is not an inherited, right? It's not like that, right? It's the same single class. So we are creating object of a teacher class here inside this teacher driver class. That's why I'm just name as a driver here. Okay. So teacher class is a class which inherits properties from person. Okay. So in order to use this teacher class, I need to create another class, right? We need to run, in order to work, we need to create the class having the main function, right? So that class is teacher driver class. Okay. So what I am saying is that there are different kind of inheritance. It is very easy, right? If you create another class, for example, class principal. Okay, that principal inherits both this qualification. That is, inherits from teacher, right? So if there is another class principal inherits teacher, then what happens? To become a multi-level, right? This is our person class, this is the teacher class, and this is the principal class, like that. So multi-level can be done. No, it is easy, right? And also hierarchical can be done. But in case of Java, this multiple inheritance is not possible. Okay, again I am telling that multiple inheritance means a class deriving features from more than one base classes. So this is in case of Java, only one base class is there for a derived class. Okay. Also hybrid can be possible. Can be possible, right? Here no class. Sorry, this will not be possible here, because this class D is deriving properties from B and C. So this also is not possible, because multi-level inheritance, multiple inheritance is also there in this picture, right? So this is also not possible in case of Java. That is, in case of Java, we can't do like this. As I said earlier, right? We can't do extends person comma another class. It is not possible. Okay, only one class is there after extends, because we can't inherit only from one class. Okay, if you want to inherit from person and teacher, then it will not possible here, right? we can able to create another class that extends this teacher class. That can be possible, but no, this we can't inherit from more than one base classes. I hope it is clear, right? Multiple inheritance. So this is a different kind of inheritance. Okay. So as you said, the multiple inheritance is not supported in Java. Okay. So this is not possible. Class C extends A comma B is not possible. You will get compile error. Is it clear? Inheritance. So today we will discuss two concepts. One is data encapsulation and other one is inheritance. Okay. Then I will also discuss this command line arguments. So any questions related to these three concepts? So next I'm going to provide some another thing is overriding functions. Overriding means the child class. The child class in this case we have two classes, person and teacher, and teacher class is called as child class or subclass or derived class, right? And person is our parent class, or we can call as base class, or we can call as super class, right? We can give any kind of these terminologies, right? So next one I'm talking about overriding. Okay, overriding means if a function, if there is any function here, for example, in case of person, I am adding another function, public void, for example, some function calculation. Okay, so this function returns some kind of data. For example, it returns height into weight. Height into weight. Okay, this is one method, right? Calc, right? It will return height into weight. Okay, so in case of teacher class, we inherit this teacher class from person, right? Person is our parent class. So this method also got inherited here, right? So this is our teacher driver class. Then we can check that function also. Just use system dot out dot println. So what happens that we need to provide return. Instead of this, I am going to give an integer public in calc. We are returning some data, right? So instead of void, it must be integer. So we are returning some integer here because height is integer, weight is integer. So integer into integer is integer, right? Okay. So here instead of po dot qualification, p dot calc. So I just name this as calculation. Okay. So once this compile run. So we will get the calculation as 11808, that is height into weight. Okay. So in case of teacher, if you want, if we need to overwrite this function, we need to, in case of teacher, for calculation, we need to provide some kind of output. Instead of this, some kind of other output need to provide in case of teacher. So that is, we can able to override methods of parent class. So that is possible. We can, the all child class can able to override methods of a parent class. How it can, if you want to override this method, then we need to create same method having same definition. This definition of this method is public in calc, right? So we need to use same definition here in under teacher class. So I am using same definition here. Then instead of height into weight, I just return some other values. For example, I just return 50. Simply return 50, not doing any calculation. So what happens is we are overwriting this calc function of person.java. So person.java is our parent class. So one calc function is here, right? We are overriding that calc function by creating another calc function inside our child class. So what happens is that when we create an object of that child class, it will, if you are calling this function calc, it will check whether that function exists in the teacher class itself. If there is any function exists in the teacher class, then it will call that function instead of going back to the person or our parent class. That is, any methods specific to an object class is called with highest priority. If there is no methods in that specific class exist, then only it will look for any methods in parent class likewise. Okay, so what happens is that the child class can able to override parent class by initializing, by implementing same kind of method inside the child class. Okay, so if you are comparing this again and running, we will get output as 50. Instead of height into weight, we are getting the value as 50. That is 50 is the output of a function inside the teacher class. So what happens? We are overriding. This is concept. This is called as overriding. So this is our overriding method. Overriding method. Okay. So methods can be overridden in case of inheritance. Any questions of this overriding concept? Any questions? So we discuss two concepts here. One is data encapsulation, other one is inheritance. In case of inheritance, there are different kinds of inheritance as there, single level, multi-level like that, right? But multiple inheritance is not possible. So multiple means a class inherits properties from more than one parent class. It is not possible in Java. Okay, we will get compile error. And if you are inheriting, we can do this overriding methods concept. We can able to override the methods of a parent class by creating same kind of definition or same kind of method in our child class. So whatever in the child class will be executed. Okay. Any questions up to this? Okay. So before going for the other concept, next other concepts are abstraction and polymorphism, that two related each other. So I just want to know whether you do know about the concept of constructors. Okay. So what are constructors? Constructors, because there is if you need to know the concept of constructors, because there are some other functions in case of inheritance we can able to use. So before using that functions or that methods, we need to know the concept of constructors. So what are constructors? Anyone? What are constructors? constructors എന്താ ആർക്കെങ്കിലും അറിയോ?
ഒരു ഒബ്ജക്റ്റ് ക്രിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ ഇനീഷ്യലൈസ് ചെയ്യുന്നല്ലേ?
Okay, yeah, very good. So constructors are the methods having same name of class and that is used to initialize values of variables inside that object. Okay, so that for example I will create this. So I'm just creating same kind of program here. Instead of person, I'll just change it into, we can call rectangle, for example. Okay. So just save this as a rectangle.java. So in case of rectangle, we can just swap the concept. So in case of rectangle also we have height and weight. Instead of height and weight, we can use height and length, height and width we can use, right? So we have set width method, get width method, like that. Okay. Get width. And get height. Why I did like that? Okay. Only height is there. So I am replacing this setters and this calc. We have two variables, width and height. So we have two functions for getting the width and getting height, right? So I'm creating a constructor here. With the help of this constructor, we can able to set the values of height and width. Okay, so constructors are the function having same name of, so in case of constructor I'm using void, same name of class. So this is a constructor method. So inside this constructor method, I am passing my height in height as h, I am passing my width as w, then I'm saving this as height equal to h and weight equal to w. So I am using a constructor for initializing or setting the values height and width. So constructors are the functions having same name that of class and that is automatically initialized or automatically called when we create an object of a specific class. Okay, so I will show you how to create an object. So for that I am I'm copying this one. We can use a name as a rectangle driver .java. So just change this as rectangle driver. Okay, so it's not like this, and so we are creating a rectangle object here, right? So rectangle r equal to new rectangle of, then we need to, this is, we are calling we are creating object here but in our constructor we are passing two values, height and width, right? So in order to make it active, here what we need to pass height and width of our rectangle like this. So what happens is that while creating an object, it will check any constructor present having these two parameters. It will check our class, rectangle class, and go for any constructor present with this parameter. We have a constructor that receives two arguments, integer arguments, right? So we need to pass these two integer arguments while creating an object. So then what happens that we create a rectangle object with height as 78 and width as 90, right? Like that, right? Height as 78 and width as 90. If you want to just, we can print that one. Height and width. So to get the height, we need to use R dot get height. And to get a width, we need to use R dot get width. So R is our object reference variable R. Clear? So just run it off. Java C space rectangle driver. .java. Okay. Spelling issue is the weight. So here we need to use width. Okay. So we got an error saying that weight cannot find symbol weight because here our variable is width. So we need to use width, right? So just fix it one. Then need to compile again. Okay. No new argument. So just this instead of passing values, just directly assigning some values. We'll check. So I'm just assigning width height as 15 and width as 10. So now it is compiled. Java rectangle driver. Okay. Get the height and get width.
സാർ അവിടെ void കൊടുത്താനൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടോ?
അല്ലല്ല, void means void വേണ്ടല്ലേ? Okay, അതാ issue. Yes, correct. So we don't need to use this void here. So that will be the issue earlier also. That is the issue. We no need to use void because that is for I really forgot that one. So in case of constructor, we not use any kind of return type. We do not use any integer, float. No return type will be there in case of constructor. Okay, that is a valid point. So in case of constructor, the name of the constructor or the function, the method constructor must have the same name as class, and it will not have any return type. Okay, you don't add any kind of return type. So that is one of the key things you need to understand while creating a constructor. Okay, here we have created a constructor, we have passed height and width, right? So while creating an object, we need to pass height and width. So what happens that when an object is created, this height and width is assigned to this specific height and width variables of the rectangle. That is, while creating an object, this method is called, our constructor is called. Okay, so one of the key things now we already experienced that error, right? In case of constructor, please don't put any return type. No need of return type in case of constructor. Okay, so we are passing the height and width here, and we are receiving our height and width as height equal to h and width equal to w, right? Likewise, we can create any number of objects by passing different height and different width. With the help of this constructor, it will execute. Okay. So that is called constructors. So we can create any number of constructors like this. Constructors can be overloaded. So any questions related to constructors? If it is clear, then we can move to next question, next session, that is overloading concept. Constructor, it's clear, right? Constructor method is executed while creating an object. Okay, you can create the constructor in any manner. Okay, here I just create a constructor like this that receives two integers, and I am adding this height as h, right, and width as w here, right? I am assigning the values of height and width with the help of these passing values. So in that case, while creating an object, you need to pass the same integers here. You need to say pass same parameters here. Okay. The constructors will call automatically when you when you create an object, or when you can set up when we create an instance of a class. Okay. So this is also possible. If you want, we can create a constructor like this also, right? I create another constructor like this, right? For example, without passing any integers, we can directly assign values like height equal to 150, width equal to 20, right? So what happens that in this case, in that case, we don't need to pass any parameter here. If you are calling, we are creating an object without passing any parameter, it will call the constructor of having same scenario, that is constructor without any parameters, without any arguments. So it will call this constructor here while initializing the object. So what happens that while running this program again, we will get out as height 150, width as 20, because it will execute this method, constructor method. Okay, so these are called as constructor overloading. Constructor overloading means we can provide more than one kind of constructor method, and we need to differentiate the constructor based on this parameter. Here in this case of constructor, we are not passing any parameters, but here we are passing parameters height, h and w, right? So these are called as constructor overloading. In a same class, we can create more than one constructors, but we need to make sure that we need to provide a different scenario. We need to differentiate these two constructors, right? The differentiation comes based on parameters. Okay, here two parameters, here no parameters, right? You can create another function, another constructor having three parameters. Okay, but we can't create a two constructor like this. It will cause you error. Okay, you can't create like this. Okay, so you can able to create more than one constructor in a class, but we need to differentiate it with respect of parameters. Okay, so in this case, what happens if you are creating two objects? This is our one object, right? We can create another object also, right? For example, in this object, I'm using a t like that. Okay. So here in this object, I am passing values 33, 55. So by creating this object, the height of this object will be 33 and width will be 55. Okay. By creating this object, the height of this rectangle object will be same as this. Height is 150, width is 120, like that, right? So we will get two output here, right? So just check it off, Java rectangle, right? We will get two input. First one is height 120, width 20. Second one is height whatever we pass, 3355, we will get 3355 because we are calling two constructors here. One is for constructor without parameters, another is for constructor with parameters, two parameters. Clear? This is called constructor overloading. Constructor overloading. Okay. So similar kind we can create method overloading also. This is a function, right? Or methods, right? We can write method overloading also. In case of method overloading, same scenario. In method we have return type also, right? The method overloading means same method name can be used, but we need to change return type or parameters must be changed. That will be two different methods, they have the same name, but these methods will have different parameters or different return type. Okay, that is called as method overloading. Methods can also be overloaded. Methods means functions. Methods can also be overloaded. Overloaded means same names, function name, method name will be same, but have different definition and or return type or parameter will be different. Okay. For example, in this is a example of a constructor overloading. We have two constructors are there. So constructors are nothing but functions having the same name of class, but there will be no return type present in the constructor. Constructors will not have any return type. Okay, but in case of another any kind of methods have a return type also. Okay, so I just provide another example here, public sum. So in case of sum one of a method. In case of sum, I am return height plus width. Okay, this is one of the definition of a sum function method, right? So if in case of method overloading, I can able to create another method having same name. So I'm using another method here in sum, but here I am passing some values int a, int b, and I'm returning a plus b here. So this is method overloading. Same function name but different parameters. Or you can create another method like this also, public void sum. Here return type is different. Public void sum means for example it will not return anything, right? So I am need to print some statement here. For example, just print here. Print sum is just printing some values 99 like that. So this is called as method overloading. We have three methods having same name, but difference is that in this case difference is based on parameters. In this case, if you're comparing this and this, the difference is based on return type. Here there is no return type, right? So this is called as method overloading. Okay, if you are creating an object here, so we have an object here, right? Rectangle R. So we can print three sum here. Sum 1, sum 2, sum 3. No need of this printing for sum 3. This is sum 1. This is sum 2. And R dot sum of. And here R dot sum of, need to pass some values s comma 5 comma 6. And last one, there is no return type here, right? If there is no return type, then we need to simply call R dot sum. So no values return here. So it is an example of method overloading also. Just compare. Okay. Okay, I think we need to differentiate. This will not be work. Void will not work. Okay. So sum 1 is 170, sum 2 is 70. So in case of method overloading, return type is need to be okay. Okay, that is working. So we need to differentiate with parameters in case of method overloading. Okay, so again the parameters must be different, otherwise the system, the compiler must be confused whether it is if the parameter is like this, no, it will confuse whether you need to call this or whether to call this. Okay, so if you need to create a overloading concept, the parameters must be different. Even in case of methods, we can use different return type, but the parameter must be differentiated. Okay, otherwise the compiler got the problem, right? Whether this one need to choose this one or this one. Okay, so this is called as method overloading. We can change the return type, also we will change the parameters here. Okay, so we can use same function name and it will be behave differently based on the parameters. If there is no parameter passing, it will perform like this. If you are passing a and b, it will perform like this. If you are only passing a, then it will perform like this. Okay. So these are called as method overloading. So we discussed these concepts. We need to discuss polymorphism and data. So we can discuss it tomorrow or next class based on polymorphism and inheritance. So we discuss these things. I hope all of you understood. Any questions? So we discuss one more thing, the command line argument. So these are the things we discussed today's class. Any questions related to that? If there are no questions, we can conclude. Otherwise, if you have any queries, you can ask. Any questions in law? So I need to take attendance. Just stop recording.